What is up, homegirls? And welcome back to the Cozy Chat Podcast. Get it, don't stop. Get it. Yeah, girl, we're back. How are you feeling? Are you enjoying? Are you having a time? Girl, I'm so happy to see you. Welcome. If you're listening, hey. Honestly, if you are listening, I know that's how we're used to doing things, okay? But I deeply encourage you to join your girl on YouTube, you guys. I think it's something to be said to like look at each other, have a little eye contact, like come on to YouTube. Like, why not? So, anyway, if you are new here, hi, I'm Aaliyah. You can consider me your virtual bestie, and I like to yap about my journey and about Jesus. So, if that's your vibe, welcome. I think we can go ahead and get right into tonight's episode. I think I want to give this disclaimer, you guys, that I think this episode is, I don't know, I feel like it's really near and dear to my heart because it's something that I am in the midst of. Like, I'm in the midst of the storm, I'm in the eye of the storm. And typically, you want to be mindful, right, when you talk about things that you're going through in the moment, because your feelings can change, your thoughts can change, perspective, new perspective can be gained. So typically it is wise to kind of close a chapter, do like a formal closeout, right? A formal lessons learned, and then you can speak from a place of sharing a testimony or of wisdom. But I do think there is also beauty in the rawness of discussing things in the moment, because I feel like that's what this podcast is. If you go back to 2023, I'm talking much different then about various things happening in my life versus how I would speak on them today. But I think it's beautiful to have those things documented, because it's like, my God, look at where I've came from. Look at where I've started from. Look how much I've grown and evolved, So I don't know. I just wanted to share that with you guys, because this is something that is more on the sensitive end for me, but I do feel like it's not talked about enough. And I feel like when we talk about breakups, it's usually romantic, or if even if it's not a breakup, if it's just like a shift in a relationship period, it's typically leaned more into romantic, relationships. But I think the friendship, my God, friendship is just so rich, needed, essential. It quenches a thirst. It provides this safe space that isn't just corny, that we just say, but is really truly cultivated and nurtured. And I think it's just such a gift from God. I mean, we even see it in the Bible with David and Jonathan, who God saw that as a covenant, in a genuine way, to just show us like how much love can be a part of a healthy friendship, So if you haven't gotten it already, you probably saw the title. You probably got the sense of what we're talking about. But that's right, girl. We are talking about friendship. So this episode is all things. I forgot what I named it. Hold on. Accepting the breakup. Friendship edition. So this is interesting, because I was even like struggling with like how to name it, because me personally, like the season I'm in, like I told you guys, this is personal for me. Still navigating it. I don't know. I go back and forth to whether I say it's like breakup or just shift, or, seasonal change, like whatever. But I think I am going to keep it in the sense of breaking up, because even when seasons change, dynamics change, you are still breaking up from habits, patterns, routines, ways of working, ways of thinking, right? By unlearning behaviors and having to come to your new normal, that like, hey, what once was one way is no longer. And whether it's permanent, whether the Lord has claimed that to be seasonal, or whether the Lord is saying, hey, I'm just doing a new thing, either way, it's still something that you have to adapt to, right? So I want to kind of talk about that whole thing, right? Okay, I have notes here. So I want to talk about that when we talk about that was like typically when we talk about breakups, it's usually in the romantic sense. But I do believe that friendship breakups, friendship shifts, might be just as, or if not more, painful than a romantic relationship. And I think I really say that when you feel like you've really found like your person. Um, I do think that I have been blessed with like a lot of community, and I have a great community. God has listen. One thing about Jehovah Jireh, okay, He will provide, and the Lord has provided me with great community. I got a lot more community by going to my church. Um, and getting involved in my church. It's brought in me big sisters, it's brought in me homegirls, it's brought me brothers. Like, I appreciate my church so much because it really gave me community here, especially living in Northern Virginia, which most of my friends that like go back as far as like middle school, college, they're back home in the 7-5. So when I first moved up here, at the time all I had was my mom and my boyfriend. So it was like, I didn't really have anybody, and I wasn't going to church yet. So I really heavily depended on them or my relationships back home to, kind of get my cup filled. So anyway, I saw that to say that, like, when I talk about this friendship or this season in my life where I'm navigating these changes, I don't want to come off ungrateful, that I don't recognize that the Lord, while He may be moving things and shifting things, He has still allowed a lot of constant in my life, and one of those things being community. I have great community, but not period. In the sense of when you find your person though. So when you find, I feel like that friend that just like gets you, maybe that friend that met you in a period of your life where you were going through a lot of change, you were going through a lot of development, a friend that just like gets you, you don't have to try really hard, you know what I mean? Like, you get my jokes, you get my sentences, you get my thoughts. That is different, right? And I think there's also, sadly, and some may disagree with me, I don't know, but I also think it's a difference with a romantic relationship, because I think you're going into it understanding like, hey, as much as I love you, as much as I like you, as much as you look good and smell good, like, as much as you have all these amazing qualities and like you're great, I love you, blah blah blah, you go into it like, as much as it would be devastating if we didn't work out, typically with romantic relationships, you understand like, hey, there is a percentage that something may go left and we may not work out. Like, I just think you have that fundamental concept as it pertains to dating, especially if you're not married, right? And y'all know I put out an episode before, single until married. Okay, so no shade, no tea, but just tea on that. So until you got that covenant, you made that covenant before the Lord, baby, you single as a Pringle, but be respectful. Like, you get what I'm saying. Anyway, I forgot my thought, running my mouth too much. Yeah, long story short, like, you kind of go into that understanding like, hey, we may not work out. I think with your friends, when you get a good girlfriend, even if it's like, yeah, I'm gonna say good girlfriend, because I've definitely had different sprints with different women, and I knew like, you're not my best friend, but we party. Like, I had my season, right? Maybe it's girls that like, we don't talk about anything, we actually don't really talk at all, but when it's time to go outside to the club, you was ready to meet me and we had a time. I had some great girls like that. Was not telling you my deepest, darkest secrets though, but I could enjoy your company. I think I'm referring to the girl who is like your good girl. This girl knows the tea. She knows the secret. She's wiping your tears. You're calling her when you trip over a rock because your ankle hurts now and you just need somebody to talk about it, right? Like, those types of girls. You don't anticipate that there will be huge shifts with that, because you kind of feel like a magnet. Like, you feel like, oh, I found my person, I found my piece. So I think because you're not expecting that, it hurts more when anything happens. It honestly probably even hurts more when you guys have like your first altercation, meaning like, fight, but not physical. Because let me talk about this really quick. If y'all are out here physically fighting your friends, please wrap it up. Why did you let that girl bop you in the head like that, and y'all turn around and y'all are good friends and y'all are at park the next weekend? Good night. I'm never doing that. At that point, if you and your friends are really tussling, crazy to me. Like, please. Anyway, because that's like really wild. But yeah, you just don't expect those things to happen. So when they do, it stinks, it sucks, and you're just kind of left with like this, like, how did we get here, And I guess I can add some context. I won't give. Sorry if you guys hear my window because I have the window open. It's a little hot in here. I won't give crazy detail because one, I'm still in the midst of it. Two, I want to be respectful of all parties, right? But what I will say is this was a shift that I think her and I were not expecting to happen. The love is still very much there. I think we're both in prayer about it. And I think that's one of the things that is more beneficial about this friendship. Maybe but like at least we got that going for us. We love the Lord, you know. But we have had very candid conversations. Like I'm in my prayer closet about this, and I'm like I am too. And I think we're both hearing that the Lord is not saying we're not friends anymore, but I do think something is happening, right? So I think that is kind of what I mean where I talk about breakup, and it's one of those things. It's like maybe we haven't broken up, but I am still in the process of adjusting to what a new norm may look like, right? I think when everything first happened, it was a state of grief because what do you mean like we're not operating the same way? What do you mean you're not my person anymore? What do you mean like if I have a good day, bad day, sour day, happy day, exciting day, whatever kind of day, I don't talk to you about it? That's odd. That's different. That's uncomfortable. It makes me sad. And I still have my days. Like I don't think I'm as sad as I once was because I think I had to really lay those emotions, all of my emotions, to the Lord. And I think that kind of gets into like navigating the breakup or the practical ways of, you know, just like, God, what do I do with these feelings? I think we have to be very honest about what we're experiencing when a season is actually shifting for us. And I think typically it's hard because we want to stay in ego. And I've had my challenge with that. Like, well, you know, you don't want to look pressed, right? Or maybe if one person's not tripping, but you are, well, why am I emotional and they're not? Or, you know, they're mad. I should be mad. Oh, sorry, y'all. Let me mute this. You know what I mean? Like you kind of want to match energy, or you want to just not be as vulnerable or as honest in your emotions because of optics, like we talked about in another episode. But I had to come to the Lord saying that like I don't quite understand what you're doing. Candidly, you know, I felt the shift. I felt a prompt from the Lord, almost like a heads up that hey, some things are about to change for you. And specifically, it was about this relationship, this friendship, and I was kind of like, okay. And then that moment happened, I think, for the both of us, where it came to fruition, where okay, it's shifting, it's changing, it's happening, you know? And we don't know what to really do with that. I'm going to speak for myself because I'm the one under mic, okay? But I think for me, it's like, I get it, but Lord, I don't get it, right? Like, because how is it so black and white? How is it that this, you know, girl is my almost every day? She's my buddy. And then, like, she's not, right? And it's confusing because some days you don't really care, like not even trying to be weird or mean or anything, but like some days you're good, you don't care, you don't think about it, you're just like, okay, bet, I trust in the Lord, I lack nothing. So if the Lord is moving someone, something, a situation, a person, a thing, an opportunity, if it's no longer in my, you know, space, I'm not really worried about it because the Lord is a provider. Whatever, I lack nothing. So if something gets removed, he's replacing, right? And that is true. So I do have those moments where sometimes I'm not super emotional about it, and then I have moments where I am and I don't understand it. And kind of going back to what I was saying about laying it all to the Lord, I had to tell the Lord, like, I'm confused with what you're doing. And I had to also pray very explicit prayers, like, is this a shift? Is this a breakup? What are we doing? You know? And I think I've said on other episodes before that, you know, I have done audits in the past, and I really encourage that everyone does that. And I don't think it's in like a shady way, but I think the Lord hasn't told me that this is seasonal. The Lord has told me that this is your friend, and just kind of navigating these new waters. That's my experience today as I record this on Thursday, November 27th. That's how Leah is today. That's what I'm experiencing from the Lord today. But I think when we do the audit, I think it keeps our heart in check, and it also creates space for the Lord to start to prepare us. I do think the Lord is kind enough. Some things do feel super sudden. While this does feel sudden, he still did give me a heads up, if you will, about some things are about to shift. But I just didn't know when or what it would look like, right? So I do feel like doing the audit can prepare you in a sense, or give you space for the Lord to speak and to hold your hand through it all, because it is very much true that the Lord operates in seasons. We have the seasons, we have day and night. Everything has purpose, but not everything operates all the time. Even the sun rests, right? So it's like I know by God's design that not everything is a forever thing. I'm well aware of that. So I think having the audit and creating space, like, hey, Lord, help me position my friendships. Help me position this person. Maybe sometimes we're calling people our best friends and they're really associates. Or maybe sometimes we have people in associates buckets and he's calling them calling us to get closer to them, and it could be for discipleship purposes. Like, the Lord will have different relationships, evolve and show up in your life for different reasons. So I don't know. I just, as a practical tip for the girlies who may be navigating, shifts in their friendships, or they're going through a friendship breakup, I think, another thing that can also provide some comfort in that is continuing to have a heart posture of gratitude. It's like, while I am grieving and I am accepting grieving, it's all like happening at one time. It's quite weird, up and down, whatever. I also have to remain very grateful, like I was telling you guys, some moments ago, for the community I do have. And I think sometimes we do make the mistake, and why potentially friendship breakups can be so difficult is because we can make one friend the friend. And I actually made a TikTok about this, and it's so funny when you make TikToks and you're trying to share a word, and then you go back and you rewatch it and you're like, I am talking about myself. That's crazy, but basically in the TikTok I was saying, like, you are trying to make her your everything friend, like you want her to be your prayer friend, the go out friend, the turn up friend, the feed me friend, the plus one friend, the funny friend, dance with me friend. Like, you're trying to make her everything. And it's not fair to the friend, nor is it fair to you, because the only person that can supply your every need is the Lord. And when we start putting those qualities into humanity, we will be disappointed, because no one is perfect. No one can hold up all the balls for you. So I was saying in the TikTok that it's really important to diversify your friend group. And I think I still had a pretty diverse friend group before, this this shift happened, but I'm really leaning into it now to see the richness in all of my relationships, because I think sometimes you can get caught up with the one friendship, whether it's because of proximity, whether it's because of, just your current seasons aligning. You can find yourself gravitating maybe to one, right? Instead of, fostering all of your relationships in a way that they need to be fostered and nurtured. And I've said this, maybe to like different people, but I know for a fact, like, I could do a better job being a better friend to all of my friends, like, especially my friends back home, right? Like, I went and saw one of my best friends, Sydney, and I, stayed with her. We had dinner. It was great. But I remember saying to her, like, why has it been so long since you and I have done this? And this is the girl we used to be outside. Hey, Sydney. Even living up here, I'm still in contact, communication. Like, that's still my girl. But like, laying eyes, having opportunity to pray, having opportunity to just share what we're going through, just having that rich quality time. I had not done that. I had not candidly prioritized that, and that's on me. And I had to hold the mirror up to myself, like, dang, I have not been the best friend that I could have been to her. Say I have another best friend, same thing. So I think it's also like, it also creates space for you to hold up the mirror to yourself. Like, while this shift may be happening, right? While this breakup may be happening with your friend, the Lord often will remove, shift, shake for you to have other things come to the surface, for you to address the other holes in the Swiss cheese, as I like to say. And I think diversifying your friend group, having different community, different pockets of community, right? Like, I have my church family, people that I've met from church. I spend a lot of time with them. I have my online community, the homegirl family, online TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, podcast, right? I have community this way. I have my back home community. I have my work community. And you have friends that like have different pockets of interest that can match different facets of you, right? So I think that's also important. And last thing I'm going to leave this with, that I think can all give us hope or just inspire us to not give up on the friendship boat, or just the thing of friendship, especially if you're an adult. I think if you're an adult looking for new friendships, it's even harder, because whether people's friendship circles are already established, or a lot of the times people are wounded. Like, the girlies have trauma from friendships. Maybe like you experienced a bad breakup with another friend, or a friend did you dirty, or you were betrayed. Now we're getting to that point. I mean, I'm 29, so now you're starting to enter some territory where you're starting to really come in contact with women who have real experiences, right? And some people are scared of being vulnerable and fostering new relationships and new community. But I think what I am now seeing, what really makes a real friendship, a rich friendship, is not only can you be there for me, can you pick up the phone when I call, can you make me laugh when I'm having a rough day, like, yes, all those amazing things. But I think what I'm really finding is good friendship, true friendship, a living, breathing friendship will survive the seasons as they come. And I think where the drift happens is we're all fine and dandy if our seasons are the same. You're single, I'm single. You're in a relationship, I'm in a relationship. You're getting married, I'm getting married. You're taking a new class, and me too. You just got a promotion, so did I, right? We're aligned. Everything's groovy, everything's gravy. But like, what happens when you're about to get married and I'm going through a breakup? What happens when you're having your first child and I just had my second miscarriage? What happens when just got promoted and you get to move to a new state and I just got laid off and now I have to figure out how to support my family? It's when the seasons are not aligned. What do we do? And I think that is what I'm learning from this, is when seasons are different, can we survive? Do we make it? And some relationships are going to be worth that fight and worth that tension, worth that conflict, worth those conversations, and the grace and the understanding and the ebbs and the flows. And maybe some relationships can't. You either grow together, you grow apart, but I think it's the same way we give that man 1,000 chances, okay? I do think, if there is something there, if the fight and the healthiness is there and it's worth it, we can also think of our friendships that way. You go through things with your friends too, right? But for the seasons where it's ending, some practical things that I would just like leave with the homegirls before I let you all go, that I'm even applying myself, is give it all to the Lord. Tell the Lord you're hurting. I don't think it has to be embarrassing. I think, and that's kind of been the theme of these episodes, like, what is cringe really? Culture wants to make emotions that the Lord has given us corny. It's okay if you're grieving her. It's okay if you miss her. It's okay if you're angry with her. It's okay if you're angry and confused with the Lord. The Lord is not, that's another thing, y'all. Like, the Lord is not scared of our feelings. He gave them to us. Of course, we're respectful. Well, do you think he's scared for us to say, I'm upset with how this dynamic is right now? Girl, he is not. Lay it at the altar. Give it to him. Be honest. And really invite him into your healing. Invite him into your processing. Invite him in so you can receive wisdom that you don't understand. I think a lot of my A lot of the power in the pause came from me slowing down and saying, this is how I'm feeling, but like, give me insight. Help me understand a different perspective. Help me see a side that I'm not seeing because I am so caught up in my emotions, and help me take this day by day. And the Lord, you lack nothing, girl. You lack nothing. So if she does have to be removed out of your life, if she has to be shifted, if she has to be put on pause for a moment, the Lord is never going to leave you out back. Maybe it's another friendship that will form, maybe, but maybe there will be just growth from that. Learning, spiritual development, health, rest, peace, dependency on the Lord. There's so much that he will provide you with and that will be birthed out of you when he moves and he shakes things. And I know I have had to, tell myself that and keep myself encouraged on those days where it is a little bit more challenging. So the Lord will provide. You lack nothing. He will never leave you for nothing. And if you are navigating a friendship breakup, a shift, it's okay. It's okay. And it's okay to just feel the feels, but trust that the Lord has a plan for you the same way you're trusting him for that job, you're trusting him for that relationship, you're trusting him for that generational wealth. You can also trust him to restore you with healthy, beautiful, rich friendships and community. Because if he can do it for her, he can do it for you. He can do it for me. So I really hope you all enjoyed this episode. If you made it all the way through and you're watching, tell me your favorite takeaway from this. Tell me your favorite takeaway from this episode. If you're watching, leave it in the comments. And if you're listening, please don't forget to join us on YouTube. It's a vibe over here, okay? And leave the show 5 stars, please, and leave a review. Until next time, homegirls, I love you guys so much. Thanks so much for tapping into the pod. See you next week.